Let me expand my greetings. I am Giorgi Giorganashvili, Personal Data Inspector, Apparatus, Information Technologies Department Head. Today I'd like to tell you about our service, electronic systems and activities which have been conducted by our structure. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to the organizers of this meeting and all the participants present here. First of all, I'd like to explain and single out personal data and all other kinds of data. What's personal data? It's physical. It's related to physical person. Any information related to the physical person. It's information about physical person or information which facilitates to direct or indirect identification of the physical person. Why do we need protection of the personal data? Why is it so important nowadays? In the modern technologies, accelerated the collection processes of collection of personal data, the storage and so on, and therefore many possibilities appeared to steal, let's say so, and harm and compromise the personal data or use it for illegal goals. Therefore, it has become very important to protect the personal data nowadays. In particular, why is it so important? Why do we protect the personal data? Because the person's privacy rights should be protected, the property rights as well, in order to prevent moral or material harm, damage to the person, as well as prevent the crime. In Georgia, we have the special legislatory base which enables to provide for the personal data protection. First of all, this is Georgian Constitution, as well as Convention, the European Council Convention, which has been signed by Georgia and adopted in 2013, Georgian law on protection of personal data. In 2013, after adoption of the law, according to this law, Personal Data Protection Inspector Institute and apparatus were established. So who is the Personal Protection Data Protection Inspector and what are his? According to the law, this inspector is the official who is responsible for the supervision of the enforcement of the relevant laws. So he should control all the processes relevant there. The main directions of his activities are consideration of all the applications from the citizens in this field, consultations to the citizens, private and public persons, in terms of protection of personal data, in public and private sector supervision of the situation with protection of data and spreading information in the public regarding this sphere. And additional function of this inspector is control on all the covered investigatory actions. He performs his duties through the support of the apparatus, where we have different departments supporting the inspector in exercising his duties. In a couple of words, I will touch upon the law. What is it about? It aims to provide for the protection of rights, including the personal life data protection, and the law covers all the area of Georgia, regardless the type of data provided.
We have some inspections. The law does not apply if it's needed for private aims. If I am going to sample my private information, the law is not active here, and if the information is classified. Then I don't continue about details on this law, because mainly there are some organizations which are proceeding this data. And I would like to explain the duties and obligations of data processor. The data processor is obliged to comply with the principles of the data processing, and to inspect all the files that he gained if the organization for processing personal information and data. It's obliged all the description of this information. It can present to the inspector, data processor, inspector. We should, if in this period, during this period, for some reasons, some personal data leaked, it should describe about it should protect it with data which is personal data of that person. And the fourth obligation of data processing is that if someone demands what kind of information is processing, data processor is obliged to provide him with this information. And the last final function, which is the highlight of our meeting, is we should provide security of the data as procedural as technical. So we don't have any detailed description in our law. It is we have it in other laws, and other speakers will provide with this information. How personal data protection, how the personal data inspector considers all the applications. He should react accordingly to this application, and in case of need, inspector begins a planned or unplanned inspection in this direction. And if it's necessary, and if we have some violations of the law, inspector has a right to get some to impose some sanctions, as verbal as some in terms of fines, to impose some fines. And one of the most important obligations for the data proceeding is in case of creating files and changing the files, they are obliged to give information to the inspector. What is a filing system is the structured base and data information which is lined up by the concrete criteria. So, for example, filing system is the personal cases of the staff personnel, some records in the system, registered base, etc. The organization which is proceeding data is obliged to create catalog of filing system, which means that they should have the detailed description of this filing system, why this system is designed for, etc. In order to provide the information of this filing system catalogs to make it automatic, we established the registry of filing system catalog. You have the address here. You can go to our website and see it. So what this filing system catalog is a system of information where you can register and to add some records or deletion or exchange of those data that you are using. One more important thing that is defined by the law, that in case of making some changes in the filing system catalogs, it's necessary to change also the relevant filing in our system. Business logic is very simple. For the filing system catalog, you should register. After registration, you create relevant records about your filing system, and then our staff, which represents administrator filing system, creates tests or checks this information, and this information is considered published. After the administrator confirms the correctness of the information becomes public, and each citizen can search for it on our website, the detailed description of filing system. One of the functions that has the inspector, proceeding inspector, is monitoring of covered investigate action. In order to simplify the system, we create a system of filing system, and we plan the management of covered investigative system. It includes analyzing information. Then we should compare this information, because we are getting information from different organizations, and at the final stage we should study if this information is lawful or not. But in these cases, inspector is acting under its competence. And additional electronic system, which are was created for the automatic function of inspector. It's a system of register training, that one of the obligation of the inspector and his system is to carry out some trainings. These trainings were very popular, and so it was necessary to create some online system for it. You can go to our website and see all this information. And the second system, because the Inspector of Personal Protection Data has been functioning for 2 years, we got some list of decisions. It was necessary to implement automatic system of this information. We have here, in the near future, we will have this link on our website, and where you can see all decisions of our inspectors. And finally, our website is personal data G and pdp.g. It's the same, it represents the same address, where you can get information as about legislative base, about personal data protection. We have information about our activities, and also you can get in touch online and get the consultations about personal protection system. So you can give your complaints through internet. We have our address on Twitter, etc. So that's all up to now, and we are planning to implement 2 very important projects in the future. SMS of system centralization. After then getting the relevant legislation, and then we can implement electronic system. And the second system will be application, mobile application, by using and that we will describe in detail through press and internet. Thank you for your attention.